Well, folks, thanks for joining us for another episode of Take Life Back
100%.
podcast.
Episode 3.
I meant to say podcast.
Podcast, yeah. Sometimes I'm a brain fat.
But that's it. Well, look, we missed out on one of them last week. Life kind of just got in the way. It was busy with kind of the current affairs that are going on in the world and making sure my volume wasn't actually all the way up there. So look, life just gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, sometimes life is challenging and it's how we adapt to these things, and sometimes it's okay to skip a thing. You know what I mean?
Don't skip too many things.
No, don't skip too many. But I mean, if you need to give something a pass for today, you know, it's okay to do that.
It is. It's just, you know what, actually, I was watching something last night, a video, and it was talking about, you know, the way walking every day and just life in general. There's so many things that we have to meet, you know, paying your bills, going to work, and trying to manage your mental health and your physical well-being in between all that. It's a fucking hard thing to do, and I suppose it's a good thing to talk about, being, you know, it's Men's Mental Health Week, and we don't like to talk about it, do we?
No. I was looking at stuff and reading stuff and all that, you know, about Men's Mental Health Month and that, and some of the statistics are maddening. So yeah, like well over 50% of people who commit suicide are men.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me.
So yeah,
when you don't talk about things, they tend to build up, and yeah. It's not just that though, but it's like you get used to not talking about things.
Yeah, and look, bottling it up, right, is something I think we've spent a lot of our lives doing. I know I have, and I know you probably have as well, right? And the thing about bottling stuff up and all that is, it's not like good for you, because like it means like it's going to cause you stress. It can give you like stomach ulcers, cause hair loss. Bottling stuff up can have a lot of physical.
Oh, of course. I also think that with people being so fucking busy all the time, you know, on the rat race that is life, whether you're looking after kids or, you know, going to work, as I said, all that stuff. I mean, by the time you get to sit down at the end of the day, because I mean, I think sometimes for me when I'm in work, it's a welcome distraction from my head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then again, when you get home from work, you tend to kind of close down and shut down and just go into relax mode.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to find something, right? Something that helps with their mental health. Now, a lot of people say going to the gym helps with their mental health. I think going to the gym is a good thing for me, right? Mentally and physically. Although I don't think it's the ideal thing, right? Because a lot of the time when you go to the gym, now me and you are grand because we go together, we're talking, we're interacting. But a lot of people go to the gym and they put earphones in, and that's isolation. That's not great for your mental health. Now, football, I played football, as you know, with Drawley United, one of the community teams. That's great for the mental health because it's a community.
Yeah, it's the camaraderie as well.
And there's a load of us there playing, training, having a laugh. It's those, I suppose, positive community things. I think we all need to find something in our lives, or try and make a bit of time for something in our lives.
Well, even like the one thing that we all do every day is we eat. And what do we eat? And this is coming from two fat bastards. I might have a bit of muscle up top, but I tell you what, I've carried that weight around with me for so long. It's such a cunt to get rid of, but I'm responsible for that.
Yeah.
And like there is a connection between, you know, what you put into your gut. It really affects your mood and that throughout the day. So, you know, what you eat is a very good place to start as far as I'm concerned.
And look, that's the thing.
But I'm still trying.
And that's the thing, like, say, for me, for example, at the minute, in my situation, I can't be in full control of my diet because I have no access to like a cook or a kitchen or anything like that, so I don't have that where I am at the minute. But look, fingers crossed that's changing soon, so I'll be able to take more responsibility towards my gut and that, and losing the weight that I want to lose. So, you know, I think that's a good thing, a good point to raise about what you are, what you eat. And it's very true, and it affects you mentally and physically. So I think, even as I said a minute ago with doing the other things, sometimes people can say, right, making a good dinner, it's inconvenient, I don't have time. Or going out to play football or pitch and putt, or to go for a walk with my friends, it's inconvenient, I don't have time. Well, is it inconvenient, or is it just at the minute you don't want, you feel comfortable, you don't want to change, and then later down the line when the problems start developing, you're kind of like, why is this happening to me? I know I'm guilty of that. I am definitely guilty of that, and you are too.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a case of,
one thing,
is it inconvenient not to make the time to do them things?
But one thing annoys me about myself, and I've said it before in videos that I've done, is that if you start something, you should try to finish it. And I don't say that because I finish everything. It's actually quite the opposite. I take a lot on and I go, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do this. And when the workload is on top of my head, you're overwhelmed at all the stuff you have to do. And what happens is you don't follow through with it. And then you're left with this feeling of like, fuck's sake, I didn't finish something that I set out to do again.
But a lot of the time, right, I think as well, our confidence can be a big effect. We'll set out to do something and we'll be like, oh, well, maybe I can't do this. Yeah,
but the thing is, I think when you decide to do something that you either feel is good for you or it's going to be good for you, that when you don't do it, I think that the more times you do that, it affects you negatively, and you build up that kind of belief system that you'll never see things through.
It's that, as they say, like your self-worth. In this case, it's the opposite of that. It's like your self-deflation, and you build up that self-deflation, so you do, instead of building up the self-worth by actually committing to what it is you said you'll do, and actually trying your hardest, even if it's uncomfortable, even if at times it seems a little inconvenient or a little hard. It's when you
fucking drop that accent, by.
You know what I mean, though? When you push yourself that bit further and you do that bit extra, you'd be jocking afterwards. But it's that's what it takes to build new habits.
I think. I also think, for all the men out there that might be watching, something we had to work on was because we all have different aspects to our life. We have our outside life, like where you go to visit friends and stuff. You have your work life, and then you have your home life. But you can't be three different people in them circles. And something we've actually had to work hard on is learning how to speak to my wife. Learning how to open up to my wife in a way, and I'm still not great at it, but I'm learning to kind of allow her into where my head is at, because...
So, a question, right? So, I'm obviously not married. I've only been in like one serious relationship, and it hasn't been as long as yours. So, I've never kind of had that type of relationship that you have with your wife, right? So, obviously, you talk to your mates and that. Like, I know a fair bit about you from doing groups and stuff, right? So, I suppose, like, how much more challenging is it, say, to go and open up to your friends or open up to people in like a therapy group and then go and open up to your wife? Is it more challenging? Like,
I think it is more challenging, because I suppose as men, it's, there's this stereotypical expectation of being the protector, being the provider, all of them things, and I think sometimes we don't like to show our weaknesses.
Yeah, be an island, as they say.
But what happens there is, I think, when you allow that to build up, it actually comes out negatively in your relationship, and then you kind of stop opening up to each other in any way, shape or form. And that's when it becomes, I think, just a living friend to a degree, because you have to kind of be emotionally available and on the same page to a degree. You can't just be storming around the gaff like a bleeding nut job, and the other person doesn't have any clue what's going on with you or why you feel the way you do.
Like people
always just go, oh, I'm just tired, I'm just this and that, but that's never the case. There's always something else going on.
It's like people say, well, you have to be honest. In this case, what you're saying is, like, you have to be emotionally honest. So you do, about what it is that's going on in here. You can't just like bottle it up and expect, say, your wife to be okay with you have been storming around the gap because you had a bad day. You have to turn around and say, look, this happened today and I feel like this, so this is why I'm like this. And then you can sit down and hash it out.
Have that conversation. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's like anything. It's practice makes perfect, and the more you do it, it does benefit. I've felt the benefits of it. Like
it benefits you, and it benefits her. It benefits everybody.
Yeah, but there's like, it just opens something up where, there's much more of an understanding, which even makes the living environment that bit better. You know what I mean? But when you're kind of tensed up all the time, and you don't explain how you feel. As I said, you just go, I'm tired or whatever else. I mean, that's no information at all for someone to work with.
I give you one that caught me off guard. I think it was a week or two ago. I forget what I'd done, but I done something right. I done something good. But anyway, I forget what it was. I'll have to look back through my phone. I'll let you know when we're not on here, because I'm not going to do it now. But I was telling my sister, and my sister sent me a message, you know, she's like, I'm proud of you. And that there kind of had me all fucked up.
I don't start fucking crying now.
No, but I was just saying, that had me fucked up. Like,
that way you're wearing the glasses, is it? Trying to hide your emotions.
That's kind of like, I don't know what way to explain it, you know, like that's because all my life as a bloke, having those feelings and not accepting them, and I suppose not even as a bloke, just in general, but it stands there. It does stand more to blokes. Affection, like, is kind of awkward, especially when people are telling you, I love you, this, that, and the other, or I'm proud of you, this, that, and the other. It's kind of hard, I think, to take that on board, at least for me.
But I think
a lot of men struggle with those types of emotions.
Yeah, I think what the thing is, I think when you're growing up from a kid, whatever you've experienced, whether it's lack of love or violence in the house or this, that, and the other, all these things that kids don't really know how to deal with, and you bottle her up. I think when you come on later into life, them coping mechanisms stay there, and what happens is you don't really know how to talk or open up, or you might think that people genuinely don't care.
Yeah, and growing up right in my house, as you know, right, I have 7 brothers. Now, 2 of them were adopted, so they were, and I were obviously in contact with them. Now, none of them was raised by Nana, so I grew up with 4 other brothers in the house. So we did, my sister and my mother as well. So, because my parents are separated, when we were separated when we were kids, so my father wasn't there. My father was there. Obviously, he wasn't emotionally available because he's a typical soldier back in the day, you know. Yeah, but growing up with 4 brothers anyway, there was never any love or any of this stuff in the house. If one of the boys started crying, the rest of us would start laughing. I'm going, oh, look at him, fucking weak little cunt. You know, that kind of is. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
And I mean, that sort of behaviour and those mannerisms are what have men like the way we all are now. Yeah. 100%.
Well, look, as we said, I think a lot of it's, look, I know walk is a healthy thing, but a work-life balance, having that balance there, because I think people do use walk as a tool to escape what's going on with them. So yeah, you have a tool here, whereas as if you're not walking, because trust me, I didn't walk for a long time when I was a young player, and all of that extra time with what I had going on my head was a fucking disaster, because I wasn't using any sort of tools, I wasn't doing any kind of work on myself. But then when I started walking, it was like I had that switch off. But you're only switching off for then. It comes straight back when you're at home. Do you know what I mean? But I think with the way society is and how busy everybody's kept and all of the stresses that we have, like trying to fucking pay the bills or keep food on the table for the kids and just keep up with the rat race in general, I think there's so much pressure there. I think a lot of it we do put on ourselves as well, trying to fucking reach these highs.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that's what I'm talking about, like taking on too much instead of doing things one thing at a time.
Yeah. And look, I suppose we have to make sure, as I said earlier on, we have to make sure, like, even in the rat race of doing everything right to try and, say, get a stable home life, this, that, and the other, and working and paying bills and all that stuff, I think we do have to try and at least take some time out in our week to do something.
100%.
Maybe it doesn't have to be community based, I think, but to do something that brings us peace and to become like say emotionally available to other people, where you're open and honest with other people about what's going on for you, because I think we all need that. It's a way of getting through the week. Like people say, I'm just coping, I'm just hanging on. But if you become emotionally available and you open up and you're honest with people, you'll soon find that, like, you'll be doing better. No, I'm just getting by. Right,
well, look, here's a question for you, right? I'll just throw it on. So, if you had a friend, right, and anybody out there, if it was your friend, if you had a friend and they were struggling with their mental health and you caught them in that moment where you knew something was wrong, what would you say to them?
What would I say to them? Well, look, I'd sit down and ask them how are they. If I notice something's wrong, right, I noticed you might be off with the way their humour is, or you might be isolating away from me or the rest of the group or whatever. I'm not coming to football, or I'm not coming to theatre or whatever it is. I'd say to them, hey, how are you? So I noticed you've not been coming to football. I noticed you've not been, ringing the group, or texting the group chat or whatever, having a chat with everyone.
You've gone off the radar, basically.
Yeah. So what's going on? Do you want to go for a cup of coffee and we'll have a little talk, like?
Yeah, but let's say if it got down to none of us have all the answers for somebody, because we are all individuals with different sets of problems in our lives.
This is what I was getting to. I'd ask them, you want to go for a cup of coffee, we have a talk or whatever, and you sit there and you just listen to them. Let them tell you what's going on for them, and maybe don't try and offer to try this, try that, try the other. Just let them talk.
See what's going on.
Yeah, because a lot of times that helps. And maybe,
or it adds pressure though. If you start telling people you need to do this, you need to do that.
That's why I'm saying you don't necessarily need to start telling them do this, do that. Just talk, listen, let them tell their story, what's going on for them. That might be all they need to help them realise that maybe I need to actually do something.
Yeah, and for me personally, because I think a big thing for me, when I was trying to overcome my head and trying to pull myself out of that dark place, it wasn't what people told me was good to do or what I should do. The main thing for me was accountability.
Yeah.
Actually taking accountability for my part to play in why I feel the way I do, and also accepting that you cannot change the past.
Yeah.
And if you stay in that tug of war between the past and present, it's fucking up your future. You have to learn to let it go and take accountability for where you're at now. And I think when people realise that, as I always say, it's like you've been carrying a skill bag around for years with all these books full of your problems, and you're wondering why life is weighing you down. It's it's time to start taking them books out one by one, because I know you can't just stop thinking about things that have happened in your life, but what you can do is you can stop thinking about them all the time or using them as an excuse to go, oh well, I'll just do that tomorrow. These old habits, it's no, you have to start unboxing the bag and fucking throwing them books away one by one and realising that it has no place in your life today. Now, that's not to say that book won't appear back in the bag tomorrow, but the more you do it, you will have the tools to go, alright, I'm not reading that today, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? And just dropping it. We have that power.
Yeah, 100%. Look, that's saying that sort of thing that took me a long time to learn. And that's where, now, I am with, stuff I know can't be changed. Stuff that happened to me in the past when I was a child, that can't be changed. Now, I used to let that stuff bother me. It doesn't bother me now. And the reason it doesn't bother me now is I know it can't be changed. There's nothing that can be done about it. You just have to get on with it and not let it drag you down. Because you say it's like that bag. So it's good. And that weight pulls you down. So that's what holds you down.
And there's a saying that I love. It's if you're try to be just 1% better every day, you'll be 365% better than the end of the year. That's 3 times better than you started off. And what does 1% add up to every day? It's not a lot. They're little changes.
Yeah. As Rue, the lady who done this program with us, she said that doctor that done the research, I forget his name, remember? You have to celebrate the little wins. It is.
Goes to show how much we need to be fucking listening, isn't it?
No, I'm listening. I'm picking up the important. We pick up the important information.
Oh yeah, just the important stuff.
It's the little wins, and as you say, 1% better every week. That's a little bit. That's a little win.
And that's it. But see, my 1% better and someone else's 1% better, they might be 2 different things, but I believe honestly that what we think we know absolutely fuck all. But that doesn't mean that you don't have to fucking watch all of these documentaries or listen to all these podcasts. It's I think it's
except that podcast. You need to listen to
except that one. But I think self-talk is a huge part to play in it.
Self-talk is very important.
Because I was a very negative talker to myself for a long time.
Look, we're all our own worst critics. So yeah, we're almost critics. And then if somebody, as you'd say, you see yourself talk, because if you be going around the road and somebody turn around and tell you, oh, you're just a dickhead, this, that, so you then go around for the rest of it, because I know I used to, and I go around for the rest of it, oh, people just think I'm a dickhead. Yeah, but so I must be a dickhead.
But listen, like this is the other thing. People talk about mental health, right? So there's very different forms of mental health. You have, everyone nowadays uses the word depressed. It's a fucking, very popular word, or anxiety. There's different levels, man.
Yeah, they're very blanket towns.
And then you have like the serious mental health problems that these people have no control over. That they be on medication their life. They could be in psych wards. Like that is the other extreme end of mental health. Yes. So I think people need to be very careful with how they bring up their suffering with their mental health. Now, I do understand everybody feels things to a different level.
Yes.
But this is where the accountability part comes in, because if you actually look at someone struggling with severe mental health that they have no control over, you should actually feel grateful that you can actually do something to turn it around. Like, you're just not stuck with that for the rest of your life with no choice in it. Like, the beautiful thing is we have choice in this. If you're someone who makes bad decisions every day that affect you negatively in the head, you have a chance to do something different. Take the bad thing out and put a good thing in, and over time you'll at least have a gauge of how severe am I suffering with my mental health. Because if things start to subside, you know that mental health, whatever, but a part of it is what you done. Yeah, like you're to blame. It's not your fucking mental health just came out of nowhere. It's self-inflicted. It can be.
Look, mental.
And when you know that and accept that, you can fucking do something to fix it. You know what I mean?
Mental health, right? Sometimes mental health things can happen in an instant. You can have a mental health crash in an instant. But a lot of the time, you'll find mental health problems are deterioration. And the thing about deterioration is it takes time. It's people letting stuff go and letting it slip today. Like, it could be the way your boss treats you. It could be the way your family, your friends sort of dismiss your feelings and that. And it takes time. And unless you, as you say, stand up and say, hey, listen, you know what I mean? And talk about these problems or
and accept that it's going to take time. Just as much time as it took to get to where you are in the negative mind space, it's going to take just as much time to come out of that. But what you learn in that space and the tools you pick up.
It's a thing, a good metaphor I heard for that before, right, was a lady called Joanna Dwyer. She's the head of McDar in Navan.
She's a lovely woman, yeah.
Lovely woman. She used to run the
Shout
Red
out
Door.
To Joanne.
Yeah, she used to run the Red Door program when I was on. And the metaphor she gave with that there, right, was brilliant, I thought. So, with your habits there, right, when it takes just as much time to build up the new as the old, think of it like you're walking through a field. Now, I'm walking through a field with your kids, and you look at the path, everybody's walking. It's all trampled down, it's nice, it's clear, it's easy to walk. But you don't want to go over there. Because, every time you go over there, bad stuff happens to you. You want to go over there, but the grass is all grown. So it takes time as you're walking over there for that grass to be trampled down, the track to clear. And the more you walk that way and that new track gets embedded in, that old track grows up. So it does. So the bad habits soon sort of go away, but the new habits come in. But as you said, that takes time.
And the moment, but as you said, like with the grass growing, the longer you leave things or the less work you're putting in, no matter how good you've got yourself, if you go back to your old habits, that grass will start growing again, and before you know it, you can't fucking see head nor tails.
Yeah.
So it's that constant maintenance. Now, I'm not saying no one can be 100% every day. Life is gonna fucking piss you off, but
you can have the tools to work with it. So you can.
You can fucking have
the knowledge.
Yeah, but you have to accept it's a bad day today, and tomorrow will be better.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have the knowledge to know it's a bad day. And then you have the tools to address it. So you can go, right, this went wrong, that went wrong. Okay, so when this goes wrong, I do this. When that goes wrong, I do this. That could be a case of picking up the phone, chatting with me. Oh, I can't do this today, I can't do that today. You know, and that's what it's about. And it's the knowledge and the power.
As well, like there's a lot of people out there who might be living in an environment that is very hard to cope with, and trust me, I know I've been there in the middle of the madness, and it's very hard to have a positive attitude. But we all have the power. Like obviously you have to be, old enough to kind of move out or whatever if you're in a bad relationship, but we all have the power to change our environment. If an environment is not conducive to you as a person, get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because one thing I've learned in life is negative people and some people in general will fucking drain the absolute life out of you. Do you know? And they'll do nothing to help themselves, but they'll drag you down. And if you're in an environment like that, get the fuck out of it.
Negative people, right, are people who, let's take it in this case, still using, because both of us will be addicts, right? So people who are still using, when they see you doing better, or people who are just negative in general, when they see you going to your psychiatrist or talking to them, and they see you doing better, they will, a lot of the time, a lot of them people want to drag you back down to their level.
Absolutely.
Because they're like, well, why should he be doing better? Why should he feel good when I'm like this?
But people don't like when people see you doing good, or our friend circles, and as you said, like, they'd want to drag you back down. It's because they don't want, but you doing good, it's making them have a look inside themselves and see what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
And now, in fairness, they mightn't be ready to face up and change that in that moment, but that's fine. But that you have no responsibility to anyone else to you other than yourself and your kids and and your immediate family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and your mental health and your well-being, and that, I'll say, if you have immediate family, if you have any, they should all come first before anyone else. 100%.
So look, men's mental health, it's a big issue in Ireland. Said there's men overrepresented in prison and suicide. You know, we just need to fucking talk more. Less of the talking about football and fucking women, and ask each other, how the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's always going to be signs, but we choose not to pick up on the signs sometimes ourselves as people. We can tune off. We don't want to take on anyone's shit. But if you see someone struggling, just fucking ask them how they are, and you'll be surprised the answer that you get, you know, that way.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, you're not taking on someone else's shit. You're just listening.
Right, so here's an on-the-spot question for you. What do you think was the biggest contributor to your mental health, and how did you overcome it?
The biggest contributor to my bad mental health? I suppose the biggest contributor to my bad mental health as I got older would have been my situation as a child, growing up as a child in a broken home, an abusive family and whatnot. You know, I think that would be the biggest contributor to the state of my mental health. And I think how I got over it, definitely how I got over it, was when I got older and I ended up going to, say, the Red Door, for example. When I was going there for a while before I really took it seriously to get help and that. When I got that help, when I really wanted that help, and I got that help.
But you reached out for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I got that help, when I talked and I opened up and I showed my emotions in that, and I was getting emotionally honest, I think that's the biggest contribution to where I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, our past has a big part to play. Now, yeah, I'd be like you, just upbringing and being in care and stuff like that. But, you know, I remember I was getting tested for the Huntington's disease, which took a couple of years for me to follow through, because it would have been a life-changing diagnosis. If I had it, I would have died, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So living with that for all them years really fucked me, my nervous system, my anxiety, all of that stuff. And when you're constantly thinking about something all day, every day, I would have to say that even though I've had a lot of struggles, that was carrying something like that around with you, it's very destructive for the mind. But opening up to people, putting myself out there and realising nobody's coming to save me and no one's coming to save you, no one's coming to save you. It starts with ourselves, inside ourselves. When you fucking say to yourself, I've had enough of this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you actually put the first foot forward and realise that you have control over your future.
Yeah.
However long it takes, baby steps or whatever. And I think there's no medication I could have took. I was on antidepressants and all that. Yes, they're fine, they dull the emotions. But as far as taking accountability and realising that we have the power and no one's coming to save you, that was a big eye-opener for me.
Right. And here, before we finish up, question for yourself, I suppose, and myself, and something we can ask the audience is, What was your all-time favourite TV show, and why was it your favourite TV show? What about it made it your favourite?
That's a hard one, because there's so many
good ones. Yeah, it's tough.
TV show. I'd have to say I really, really love The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
And I said this to before, like, I'd love to, like, I know the reality of it might be fucking bad, but for me to be out there fucking chasing zombies around and raiding gaffs and finding guns and food, it just seems to me like an adventure. But then there's the other side of it. It's like, yeah, but you're going to be living under constant stress with fucking zombies trying to eat you and all. It's like, yeah, but at least you're fucking living. You're living in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Constantly on the go. I don't know. There was just something about where I envisaged myself in it. And I thought this would be great because it's all people together trying to survive and helping each other out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was something about that I liked, but the program itself I thought was class. So
yeah,
that'd be mine. What about you?
For me, it was a science fiction show. Only lasted one season, and Fox intentionally aired out of order. It's called Firefly, so it's like a Wild West in space. Or a fantastic show.
Never
Fox
heard
aired it out of order, cancelled it after the full season. There is a film. Brilliant TV show. Unfortunately, that happened. Science fiction. There's a couple of other great science fiction shows I love that are all cancelled, and you're fantastic shows. So anyway, but that's just the way it is. But it's a great show. But anyway, we've turned it over to yours. What was your favourite show, TV show? Why was it your favourite TV show? Leave it below in the comments, and we'll let you know what we think.
Absolutely, and look, we know this has kind of been a short podcast, and we are planning on getting guests on soon, as I said. But
just technical hurdles we're still dealing with. We bit off more than we could chew.
Well, look, come here, come here. Bollocks to that. We're fucking doing the deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It'll happen over time.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? But yeah, we appreciate anyone out there who's watching us, and as always, stay tuned for the next one. And if anyone out there wants to sponsor a show or two, reach out to us. We'd really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's it.
So anyone out there suffering with their mental health, or if you know anyone suffering with their mental health, just check in on them. Be an ear to listen, and that's all you can really do. But if you're suffering out there, don't suffer on your own. Don't suffer in silence. There is people out there you can talk to. Just make the move. No one's coming to fucking save you. Do you know, it's as simple as that. I'll say it straight out. Ask for help. Asking for help is one of the hardest things to do, but it's one of the most beneficial things you'll ever do.
Asking for help is a strength. It's definitely a fucking strength. So it is. Don't mind this bullshit when people tell you, oh, it's a sign of weakness. Fuck off, pal. You know,
absolutely.
It's a strength. So there's no shame in asking for help. If you need help, reach out to a family, reach out to a friend. Call the HSE hotline. Call the Samaritans. Call
not the hotlines. He just be fucking
yeah, don't ring the hotlines. I ring. You wouldn't like them.
Anyways, folks, listen. Thanks for watching. We're gonna start having guests on in the next week or two. Stay tuned. Love you.
Get up.
Get out.
And get after it. 100%.